This is the complete story of the Japanese horror RPG Mad Father, and a few theories I have regarding the story, because some of the information we get isn't as cut and dry as you might think. I would let you know that most of this information I have tried to piece together from my playthrough of the original game with some help from some online forums for information that comes from the Steam version of the game, as well as the added blood mode in the Steam version. This video is intended as an audio primary experience, so feel free to tab out and play a game, do some chores, do some work or something. The audio will be balanced out so there will be no sudden increases or decreases in volume, I hope. One last thing before I begin, please leave a like on the video, comment, and subscribe as it lets me know that I had done good with this. With that, we shall begin. In a large manor secluded in the woods of North Germany, a young girl, Aya Drevis, anxiously waits outside her father's basement workshop. Alfred Drevis, Aya's father and a scientist, exits his workshop and is upset that Aya is in the basement, as he has told her many times to never come down here. Aya sullenly apologizes and explains that she is feeling sad and nervous about the coming anniversary of her mother's, Monica Drevis's, death, which will come around at midnight. Her death was related to an illness that she had struggled with for many years. Alfred comforts Aya and assures her that her mother must be watching them from heaven, looking down on them with love. He then tells her that he will read her a bedtime story once he's done with his work. Alfred returns to his workshop and Aya can hear screams coming from it as he resumes his work. Aya returns to her room, thinking of the work her father does down in his lab. Aya chooses to ignore what her father does, due to her love for him. But she can't ignore her father's relationship with the Drevis family maid, Maria. While Aya is away, Alfred and Maria are very close, with Alfred treating Maria very affectionately. Midnight arrives, as well as the anniversary of her mother's death. Aya sits still alone and awake in her room, thinking of her mother. Here you take control of Aya and can inspect items in her room. She has her pet rabbit Snowball, some notable books called The Red-Eyed Stranger and Horace the Traitor, her dresser full of her belongings, a picture of her mom, and a doll that triggers a flashback. In this flashback, Aya remembers the first time her father gave her that doll, and she remarks how pretty it is, and it was almost indistinguishable from a real girl. After the flashback ends, Aya feels the room get cold all of a sudden, and attempts to go to bed. While in bed, she remembers a day that she went out to play in a field near the manor with her father. As she plays, her father is fast at work on something. He then calls Aya over and places a flower crown atop her head. Here, Alfred is showing real love and affection towards his daughter, and Aya notes that it is rare that he takes time away from his work to do so. Then, Monica approaches, and Aya shows off her flower crown, and as her mother praises her, Aya asks her father if they could come out and play more often. Alfred agrees and says that Monica should join in next time as well. As Monica begins to affirm, she suddenly has a coughing fit, a symptom of the illness that she has been battling for a while. Alfred offers to have Maria prepare some medicine for his wife, but Monica refuses, clearly upset by the mention of the assistant. Aya asks if her mother is okay, and Monica is quick to return to her gentle demeanor, assuring her daughter that everything is alright. The flashback ends with the three leaving for the manor together, and Aya notes how happy they all were back then. She particularly notes that she saw Maria as a negative in her life, but that it didn't take away from the family's overall happiness. But all that happiness ended when Monica had suddenly died of her illness. Her father became more obsessed with his work than ever. Maria acted much more coldly to Aya, and Aya was left alone in the manor, longing for her mother and for the love of her father. A scream echoes through the silent halls of the manor, and Aya is jolted out of bed. She knows the scream came from her father and leaves her room in an attempt to find him. Walking down the hall, Aya begins to hear voices. Just then, corpses materialize and begin to move towards Aya. Aya is frozen in fear until she hears a voice from the other end of the hall call out to her. She follows the voice and sees a pale young boy standing just before the entrance to the attic. The boy tells her to follow, and when Aya asks who he is, he fully turns, revealing the mutilated right side of his face, him being a corpse as well. Aya is frightened again and runs back to her room, where upon entering she sees a tall, bald, and pale stranger with pointed ears and red eyes. He wears a black suit and a fine black hat. He stands in front of Aya's bookcase. He remarks that Aya has an interesting selection of books in her room. Aya demands to know who he is, and he tells her not to be so aggressive and that he is a simple salesman. Aya is confused and the man takes off his hat and gives a bow, introducing himself as Ogre. Ogre notes how troublesome the current events are and explains that the corpses and ghosts are the vengeful spirits of the ones that Alfred had killed in his experiments, and that they are loitering around the house, seeking revenge against Alfred and all he loves as part of the curse. Aya exclaims that she must save her father, and Ogre muses as to why she should or would do that. He tells Aya that he had killed many, many people, and that this is his due punishment. Aya says nothing and runs out of the bedroom, ready to search for her father. Ogre remarks that she doesn't yet understand the sorrow of her father's victims. From here, the game opens up with the goal to get to the basement and see if father is in his lab. To save time, since I have a lot to go over, I won't talk about where to get every gem in the game. Gems are used to unlock the secret ending, by the way, but I will say that most of them are found from either discovering more lore about the game, which I'll bring up later on, and by helping the spirits to pass on, also in hidden spots like other secrets in other games. So first things first, Aya goes down to the basement and sees that the path is blocked by a massive wall of flesh. Aya is scared by the giant monstrosity and runs out of the basement. Returning to Aya's room, we can pick up Snowball and take him along with us. Upon picking Snowball up, we see a flashback to when Aya had lost him. Aya was worried due to Snowball having an injured leg, but Alfred finds Aya and tells her to keep a closer eye on him. When Aya is given Snowball back, she sees that his wounded leg is as good as new. Remember this for later. Alfred tells Aya that Snowball is part of the family and is loved just as he loves her and her mother. The flashback ends and Aya brings Snowball along with her. Going into her parents' room, we are treated to the most lethal jump scare in the entire game. I won't play it, but if you watch my gameplay videos, I lowered the sound of the jump scare by a solid 20 decibels. After exiting and returning, the place where the ghost is standing will have a key to the archives room. There will also be a locked safe and a diary on the floor. Quote, "My heart is warmed to see my daughter grow up. I caught a rat yesterday and showed it to her, and she was so merry. I could have cried from delight. To think she enjoys it so. Perhaps she resembles her father in curiosity. I look forward to seeing her mature." Now, I'm going to save the theories on who is writing which diary until the end, but just keep in mind that there are a few different authors for the entries that can be found. And it's very rarely explained who those authors are. So after finding the archives key, naturally Aya goes to the archives room and there is a lot of text entries here. There's no real order I know of to read them in, so I'll just tell you them as I found them, then we'll piece it all together at the end. Data on live experimentation. This notebook is presumably written by Alfred, detailing his work. A code memo to the safe in Alfred's room is stuck between the pages. After finding the code memo, Aya is confronted by the ghost of a young girl looking for its mother. As soon as the ghost touches Aya, her consciousness is transferred to the girl's last memories, and Aya must experience a terrifying death brought about by a lethal injection given by Alfred. When Aya returns to her own body, she screams and pushes the girl down as the girl continues crying for her mother. Another diary entry. Quote, "This is a nightmare. How could this have happened? I killed a bird." Just like the rest of the pages are unreadable. Now, I don't want to really get too much into the theory yet, but I think that this diary entry may be written by Aya, and I'll explain that at the end of the video. Next is the flame egg. Now, this story doesn't really have much to it. It's more just symbolism about a young girl that gets the power to set everything on fire and ends up burning the world down, and she's all alone at the end. It's more just symbolism for, can you guess? This story actually does give Aya the idea to burn the wall of flesh, blocking her path into the basement away. Handwritten memo. Humans are beautiful, but that beauty soon fades. That is the law of this world, but I have overturned it. After years of research, I have found eternal beauty. A body that will never fade, even in death. A body as fresh as when they were still alive. They have eternal beauty within their grasp. On the far west end of the hall, there is a doll room filled with dolls. Shocking, I know. Many are small and like little Victorian-era dolls, accompanied by two large dolls standing next to a throne-like chair. I noticed that all of the dolls are so realistic they can be mistaken for living people. Sticking to the west side of the manor, but going downstairs, there is a reception room. Aya enters and can hear crying coming from behind the fireplace. There's also a book about good luck charms. The specific charm mentioned involves a kiss to the forehead accompanied by the words, "May you be smiled upon." A few characters throughout the story do this, including Monica, Robin, that was the boy with the mutilated face, by the way, I forgot to mention that, and Alfred. Returning to her parents' bedroom, Aya finds a lantern that will help her see in the basement and her mother's perfume. Aya has a memory of going down to the basement to see her father and catching him being affectionate to Maria. Aya is stunned watching it and doesn't notice her mother walking up behind her. Monica scolds Aya that she shouldn't come into the basement, but then sees the affair as well. Monica exclaims that she knew it and stomps off back upstairs. Aya sheepishly... I see how much of this script I can read without speaking it in fucking pig Latin. Aya sheepishly follows her Wow, that wasn't even 5 words. Outstanding. Aya sheepishly follows and catches her mom stomping around her room in a rage. Monica grabs the perfume bottle that was a gift from her husband and throws it into the hall, screaming in anger. The memory ends as Aya remarks that her mom is usually so nice and that it was the first time that she had seen her lose her temper. She also notes that she had returned the perfume to her mom's dresser afterwards and was comforted by the fact that her mom still chose to take care of it after she had calmed down. Aya concludes that her mother must have loved her father until the very end and takes her perfume as a good luck charm. Now, I'm going to explain this little part here and why it's relevant. This shows that Monica, Aya's mom and Alfred's wife, still loves Alfred even though she is well aware of all the gruesome things that he does. We'll get to know a lot of the gruesome things that Alfred does more in much more detail. But I think it's important to know she's fine with what Alfred does, all the, horrible experiments that he does, but she draws the line at an affair, which really draws into question her morals. Back to the game. Aya then collects everything she needs to set the massive flesh ablaze and proceeds to do so. Notably, before she does so, the hallway leading to the basement is painted red with blood, spelling Die Vater Mörder, which is German for your father, murderer. The spirits really want Aya to know that her father was evil beyond compare. The wall of flesh lets out a guttural scream of fear and agony as it burns away, and Aya runs away in fear, but later returns to see that it is all burned away. Aya then proceeds to her father's lab. Inside the lab, Maria is unconscious and wounded. Aya rushes to her, and Maria urges Aya to get somewhere safe. Aya refuses and asks Maria what happened to her father. Maria suddenly attempts to stand, preparing herself to find Alfred, but falls back in grievous pain from her wounds. Maria says that Alfred is further below and mutters something about his wife before falling unconscious. Just then, Ogre reveals himself to be standing in the corner, waiting for Maria to pass out again before addressing himself to Aya. Aya is wary of Ogre, but not outright hostile. He tells Aya that her father is further in the basements, referring to them as a maze. Aya asks Ogre what had happened to Maria and how her mother is involved, and she says that her mother had passed away and doesn't understand what is happening, slowly coming to the conclusion that the curse must have affected her mother as well. Ogre goads Aya into pressing forward, and as she does so, she sees her father unconscious at the end of a chamber filled with tubes containing lifeless human bodies. Floating above him is the apparition of Monica, Aya's mother, who swiftly takes Alfred and drags him further into the depths of the manor. Aya is distraught, unable to accept that her mother was attacking her own husband, and Ogre reveals himself once again and declares that the curse affecting the Drevis Manor is the power of a woman's curse. Aya refuses to believe that her mother would want to kill her husband and decides to press onwards. In one of the storage rooms ahead, buried in the shattered remains of a cupboard, Aya finds a scrap of paper reading, "Just like my old self, killing solely out of interest. Then it must run in the family." Remember this scrap of paper, it will be very important later. In the same storage room, Aya finds a ladder and uses it to climb into the attic, where she finds a mini chainsaw. Aya has fond memories of this chainsaw, one of them being the time that she was playing with it in the backyard, only to be caught and reprimanded by Alfred. He asks his daughter repeatedly where she had found the chainsaw, but Aya only repeats "sorry" in reply. Notably, Alfred doesn't seem angry that Aya was using the tool, but he seems genuinely worried for his daughter. This would explain why the chainsaw was hidden away in the attic. It was so Aya couldn't get to it. Okay, real quick, I want to explain something. Aya doesn't feel guilty that she got in trouble. She's upset that her father's mad at her. There's a pretty big difference between the two. Guilt is understanding that what she had done was wrong, but Aya doesn't do that. She just keeps looking down and saying sorry over and over again. Her being upset that her father is mad at her, well, he wasn't really mad, but she thought he was. Her constantly apologizing over and over again isn't a genuine feeling of guilt. It's more like she was just upset that her father was upset. Now, am I playing armchair psychologist really hard? Absolutely. Does this fit into the theory that I have later on? Absolutely. Remember this, alright? Also, is anybody tired of hearing Aya and Alfred and Monica? Because I'm kind of tired of saying Aya and Alfred and Monica. Using the chainsaw, Aya can clear the debris blocking the way further into the bowels of the manor and uncover more of her father's twisted works. But what lies ahead of her is not a corpse, not a demon, just a shriveled old man. He may or may not be a corpse or spirit, but he doesn't react at all to Aya, instead just sitting in a pessimistic daze, muttering to himself. What he mutters may be the first time a player may start to question what is really happening and who the real villain of the story actually is. It's also the most important line of text in the story, at least in my theory. The old man mumbles to himself, "Curse that youngster, doing everything the woman says, and so deceived as to not realize her true nature. That woman's going to create a demon. She's even crazier than the doctor." And the rest of what he says is incomprehensible. I'll explain what each line in this means, but for now, Aya must move forward, straight into another obstacle. This one being a large metallic door with the controls to it being locked in a chamber with a crying female corpse. The corpse explains that man took away my eyes. The crying of the corpse sounds exactly like the crying heard from the fireplace in the reception room. Aya goes back to her father's lab in the basement and enters a storage area adjacent to it. In there, she can retrieve a bucket that she will fill with water to extinguish the fire in the reception room and a glass bottle with a pair of eyeballs inside. Also lined along the shelf that has the eyes on it are jars filled with what looks to be deceased infants that Alfred was probably studying. So add that to the list of fucked up shit he's done, and I think we're starting to make a real mental picture that this guy might be sort of a butthead. Anyways, moving swiftly along, Aya goes back to the reception room, extinguishes the fire, crawls inside the fireplace and drops the glass bottle in the hole, and then hears it shatter at the bottom and the crying stops. Returning to the chamber, the crying ghost says that she found her eyes, unlocks the door and exits the chamber, and thanks Aya. Aya can proceed yet again, but is immediately stopped at the very next room by a spirit that loops the stairway that she is in forever. Aya asks her why she's looping the stairwell, but the spirit does not respond. Aya asks if she wants to leave the manor, and the spirit nods yes. After walking for a bit, Aya notices that the spirit has fallen behind and goes back to find her, only to be struck by another vision of the spirit's last moments. Once again, in the perspective of the victim, Aya is frozen in fear as she sees her father approach with a chainsaw. She then must experience the last moments of the woman. Aya then wakes up and returns to the looping stairwell, only to see the mangled corpse of the woman on the floor. The stairwell no longer loops and Aya can proceed. Y'all like the sound of that truck going by? Aya enters the second layer of the basement and solves some more puzzles. Nothing really worth talking about until she finds the second lab. Inside is a red book full of her father's notes on his work. Aya finds the pictures in the book to be disturbing and puts the book away. The other thing Aya finds is an entire bookshelf full of jars, and in those jars are the corpses of white rabbits. Every single one of them has a violent wound to them, and they all look exactly like Snowball. Now, you might be having some thoughts about this, but I want to come back to this later, so please just keep it in your head. Keep this shelf full of rabbits in your head. Think about dead rabbits. That's what I want you to do. Just keep thinking about dead. Aya is disturbed by this as well and looks away. Then she finds and releases a monster that kills an old man. So, never a dull moment. Anyways, adjacent to the second lab is a room full of cells where Alfred would keep his test subjects and prisoners. The implication is that some of these corpses that we are seeing may have been held prisoner, tortured, and experimented on repeatedly. So no wonder they would want this guy dead. Further on ahead is a sort of underground chapel. It has rows of pews and an altar at the front. Sitting in one of the pews is Ogre, who warns Aya that she may not be able to go back for a while should she proceed, basically telling the player that they will be stuck in the next area until they get through it. There are 2 doors at the front of the chapel, the left being locked, so Aya goes through the right. Beyond that door is a sort of dining room and kitchen. Attempting to pass through the kitchen, Aya is attacked and strangled by a ghost, but is able to break free, though she does pass out from the assault. Aya dreams of a memory she had with her mother. Her mother reads her the story of the red-eyed stranger, but Aya interrupts her and asks her mother what her father is up to all the time in his basement. Her mother brushes her off and tells her that she will find out when she's older. Tragic foreshadowing. Then tells Aya that no matter what happens, she must not hate father. Aya wonders what this means, but Monica clarifies that she still loves her husband, she just knows he can be quote-unquote unpredictable. Aya and her mother make an agreement to support each other no matter what, so they can both continue to love Alfred. The memory ends with Monica continuing the story. Aya wakes up back in the chapel, with Robin sitting next to her. He has a bandage covering his eye wound and seemed to have dragged Aya back into the chapel and watched over her while she was unconscious. He assures her that he is her ally and apologizes for frightening her earlier, noting that his appearance must have frightened her. Aya sullenly asks if the wound on his face was from her father, but Robin tells her not to worry about it and it's in the past. Aya then asks if he hates her father just like all the other spirits, and Robin says that because of their hate for Alfred, none of them can be saved, but he can save Aya. He then tries to convince her to get away from the manor and leads her by the arm, but Aya resists, saying that she must save her father. Robin warns that the corpses ahead will try to kill her as well, Aya once again refusing to give up on her father, and Robin grabs her fully by their arms again, struggling to get her to go with him, trying to tell her that she asked him to help Aya, that she wanted him to do something, but is cut off by multiple daggers being thrown into his side. As he falls, Maria asks if Aya is okay. Aya is shocked to see that Maria had recovered and had just attacked that boy. Maria approaches and asks Aya if she's alright again, then asks why she won't flee the manor. She then tells Aya that she will save Alfred and that Aya must trust her word that she will bring him back. Aya begs Maria to let her accompany, but Maria shuts her down, telling Aya that her father would be broken if something had happened to her. Just then, the door to the dining area where Aya was attacked opens, and Maria declares that Monica is challenging her and that she will not do as she pleases. With that, she moves on ahead, leaving Aya alone with the body of the young boy that had tried to save her twice. Aya goes forward and helps another spirit pass on, receiving a napkin in return. She then moves into the proceeding hall, but is chased out of it by the same ghost that strangled her. But after the ghost does not chase her into the dining room again, Aya returns to the hall and sees Ogre standing at the end of it, telling Aya that there was some clutter, as he puts it, and he had disposed of it. Clearly, Ogre is far stronger and more capable than just teleportation. After the hall is a puzzle room involving lifelike dolls that Alfred makes, and Ogre at the end of it declaring that he appears in the most unexpected places and asking Aya if she had solved the puzzle yet. After Aya does, she is then led through a hall containing journal entries, assumingly from her father. I hope y'all are ready for this shit. The first journal entry. I was born. I slept cuddling up against my mother. Second journal entry. I killed an animal for fun, then I got addicted. There's always dead cats and birds in my room. Mother gets mad when she finds them. Whenever Mother is out, I hide the corpses in the dresser. Third journal entry. Mother found out I was killing animals. Mother scolded me. Shut up. I stabbed Mother with a knife. Mother fell over, all red. It didn't suit such a pretty face, so I wiped Mother's face. Her dead face was very pretty. Fourth journal entry. I killed Mother. I was scared and ran away, far, far away toward the ocean. I wanted to forget everything, but I couldn't forget Mother's pretty dead face. I killed another. I eventually got addicted to seeing people's dead faces. Now, I have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to save most of it for the end. But I want to real quick just recap what happened. All those diary entries are from Alfred. They're about his childhood and his early life, becoming the man that he is. There's a few gaps in there that I'm going to talk about later because they are filled by blood mode, which is added in the new Steam version, but I'll talk about that later. What I want to mention is that Alfred was born a psychopath. He was, from the very beginning, always a psychopath. He loved seeing dead things. Dead things made him happy. They intrigued him. He liked looking at dead things. And whenever the animals weren't enough, his anger and his rage led him to kill his own mother. Well, now he got addicted to seeing dead humans. So he went on a killing spree. It's not ever clarified exactly how many he killed, but he became a legit serial killer, going from town to town, killing, and killing, just to see their dead faces. But this all was fleeting to him, so he started doing something else, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. I just want you to know that this is the backstory of Alfred Drevis, a psychopathic serial killer. And to go back to the whole analysis part of this and not just telling what happens in the fucking game, which is what I've mostly been doing so far, this is a very sharp contrast from the Alfred that we see making flower crowns for his daughter. This is the sharp contrast that we see of the Alfred that is, being affectionate with his maid, So the question is, who's the real Alfred? How is he lying to his daughter? Is he lying to Maria? What is going on in Alfred's head? If his whole thing is that he just loves killing and loves seeing dead things, why is he so kind and patient to his daughter? He was genuinely worried about her whenever she was playing with the chainsaw. He was genuinely worried about her hating him whenever, keeping her out of the basement. So does he just lie to Aya? Is his affection for Aya all a lie? We'll get into that here in a bit. Let's continue. Returning to the present, Aya collapses after she finishes reading her father's old diary. Ogre appears as she falls over and says that she ought to rest for a bit. As Aya is unconscious, she dreams of a time that she was playing with her mother. Monica calls her over and performs the first good luck charm that Aya has seen. Monica tells her that the charm will make sure that she will be happy from now on, and Aya gives her mother a hug. The memory ends as Aya is hugging her mother, the scent of her mother filling her mind. Aya wakes up to see a corpse smelling her mother's perfume. Aya yells at the corpse and leaps to retrieve her mother's perfume, but it runs off. In the room where Aya wakes up, there's a very telling diary entry. Now, I want to save it for later because it reveals a bit too much, and for the dramatic aspect, I'll read it later. Trust me, it'll be more interesting without the context. Alright. Aya then finds the corpse trying to lure a rat with the scent of the perfume, but the scent repels the rat instead. The corpse seems quite dejected at this, until Aya runs to her and pushes her against a wall, demanding her mother's perfume. The corpse tells Aya that she doesn't have it, and tells Aya to look for it. The corpse then gleefully runs off. As Aya searches the room, she notices a crack in the wall, breaking it open with her chainsaw. Aya crawls inside the hole in the wall and finds her mother's perfume, but is run off by a corpse. Aya barricades the door, trapping the monster in the room. Aya promises only to use a little perfume to her mother, then sprays some on herself, allowing her to get through the rat hallway. Don't you wish your house had a rat hallway? Moving forward is a puzzle, but it's mostly just trapping another monster. What is more interesting is the layout of the room. In the original version, it's multiple prison cells all outside the final lab. Of course, this implies that special subjects were kept right outside the lab awaiting their visit with the doctor. I'm using that in a menacing way. In the Steam updated version of the game, the cells are replaced with intricate, decorated rooms except two. The first being a room where a quote-unquote shame to the Drevis family is hung to the ceiling. The second room is a garden with a coffin covered in flowers that Aya must lay down in. Now, we're going to get into what those mean later, but I need to bring that up now. Just remember, there are some stark differences here. Alright, moving beyond the cells, Aya is barred from entering the final lab by a force field being created by a doll. The doll tells Aya that she won't get through, but is caught off guard when the corpse that stole Monica's perfume appears and tells Aya that in order to dispel the barrier, she must destroy the doll. The corpse recommends burning the doll, and the doll tells the corpse to fuck off. Aya then grabs the doll and goes to burn it. Going to the furnace room, Aya must pass through a small cave. In that cave is the corpse of a cat. Passing by it originally, it is noted as just being a dead cat. But if you pass by it when Aya is returning from burning the doll, the cat is following Aya with its eye. But first, Aya must burn the doll. Ahead, Aya overhears the corpses and spirits attack and kill the corpse that had helped her. When Aya comes across the body, the corpse says weakly, "I only wanted to be a part of your family." We don't get that much backstory for this girl, but it can probably be assumed that she was an orphan that Alfred had picked up and killed. It's kind of dark, just promising an orphan a better life and then killing it. Not that great. I'm starting to think that this Alfred guy may not be quite so cool. He's not invited to the barbecue anymore. Aya tries to get to the furnace, but the door is locked. There's a puzzle where she must get the key out of a dog, but the most important things about it are: 1, the laboratory where Alfred just has mandrakes in it, which most normal doctors don't have in their homes, but hey, I ain't a doctor, so maybe some medical professionals might have a plant that will literally fucking kill you by screaming if you uproot it. Not that I know. 2, Aya apologizes to the dog as she cuts it open. I will talk about this later because that has to do with blood mode. We'll talk about it later, okay? So Aya gets the key and burns the doll and moves on with her life. Now Aya enters the final lab and sees a massive portal. Ogre tells Aya that her mother and father are on the other side, but also warns her that the reality she must face may be too much for her to handle. He asks if she is really going in. Aya says she must save her father, and Ogre is impressed by her determination. He then approaches Aya and gives her magic water, saying it can dispel the curse. Aya takes the water and asks if Mom will be able to rest once the power of the curse is gone. Ogre assures her that her mother must be able to rest. Aya then gets the option to go search the manor for anything she forgot. Now, this is where we're going to do a bit more exploring for a bit more lore. So, Ogre will teleport Aya back and forth from the bottom of the basement to right outside her room, so that's helpful. For right now, we're going to head back to the first lab. There will be a room key where Maria was unconscious. Picking it up, we'll suddenly be beckoned by a ghost to where that room is. It is in the archives room. So this ghost beckons us to the archives room, and inside the archives room is Maria's personal room, and inside that room is Maria's diary. Once we activate the diary, it begins a cutscene in which we get the backstory of Maria. You can probably tell that I'm going off script at this point because I've caught up to it. From Maria's backstory, we learn that she was a homeless woman that was going to starve in the street if it hadn't been for Alfred finding her and taking her to his manor. He leaves her in a cell with a heavily injured man and says that he'll be right back. Maria, seeing the man was in pain and close to dying, tears up her own clothes to make bandages to stop the man from bleeding out. When Alfred returns, he looks over the man as Maria sits naked in the corner. Alfred says that the work is just enough to keep the man alive and is astonished that Maria had done it herself. He then offers to take Maria on as an apprentice. Since then, Maria has felt ingratiated and has loved the doctor for saving her life. Aya then comes to a conclusion. She realizes that Maria didn't want to take her father away from her or destroy her family. Maria just loved her father the way that Aya loved him. Maybe not quite the same, with the whole physical shit, but spoilers, whoops. Anyways, Maria isn't a bad person. Maria just wanted a home, and she found it. Whenever she was at her lowest, almost starving, Alfred gave her a home, so she could tolerate, all the brutality of his experiments, him being so distant and cold most of the time, and then suddenly embracing her. So, now that we know that, let's ask another question. What the fuck is up with Alfred? Does he care about Maria? Is he in love with Maria? Is he just using Maria as a useful apprentice and pawn? Could he want her eyes, since it's mentioned multiple times that Maria has what is intimidating but large and beautiful eyes? Does Alfred have some nefarious ulterior motive for taking in Maria, or is he just a kind person that has his psychotic moments? Does he just have a fascination with death, but he still has a tender heart and love? Well, let's find out. But before we go into the finale, there's one more thing I have to talk about. If we go back to Aya's bedroom, remember that dresser that had her things inside? It's a small note. It's just a dresser that has Aya's things inside. But now that we've read Alfred's backstory, if we go back to that dresser and open it up, what do we find in there? But the corpse of a cat. Could this be the same cat that was found dead in the caves? The one that had its eye following Aya? I hope you realize the obvious implication here. Aya is killing animals and stuffing them in her dresser just as Alfred did. Now, that's what we know. We'll get onto the speculation after we finish this up. So let's go into the ending of the game. As Aya jumps into the portal to go save her father, she leaves behind her mini chainsaw and lantern. An ogre stands there, remarking on what she will choose, and proudly declaring that he will see this through to the end. Aya wakes up in the other world. It is a spiritual realm, where she goes to confront her mother, who is standing over the unconscious body of her father, with Maria's body tossed away into the corner. Aya confronts her mom and suddenly rushes to her, trying to embrace her, but Monica pushes her back. Monica tries to explain to Aya that Alfred has done horrible things and must be punished, but Aya responds that Monica always knew all the horrible things that Alfred was doing and understood Alfred. Aya explains to her mother that Maria was the problem, that she was jealous of Maria and father spending so much time together, and Aya agrees. She says that she was afraid too. She was so scared she couldn't breathe, and she didn't like that Maria was getting so close to father. Monica laughs, saying that it was true, that she couldn't stand to see Maria and father together. Monica clarifies that she doesn't want to see Alfred suffer, but she also doesn't want to see Alfred with anyone else. Aya begs her, saying that her father is the only thing that she has left after her mother had died, but Monica isn't budging. Aya begs. She says that she can't live all alone in this world and begs her mother to take her with her. But Monica refuses, saying that she wants Aya to live free and happy. Aya begs once again, saying that she can only be happy with her mother and father, and tries to run to her mother, but Monica knocks her away again, this time infuriated, saying that none shall interfere. Monica opens a portal and prepares to drag Alfred in with her. Alfred looks up and calls out to his daughter. Aya once again runs and is able to pull her father away from her mother. Her mother wonders why Aya won't listen to her and begins to grow even more angry, preparing to attack Aya. Aya wonders what she can do, just then remembering the magic water that Ogre had given her. She remembers that the water has the power to seal the curse, but she wonders what she really should do. And this is where you can make your final choice of the game. Well, technically the final choice. You can either let Monica take Alfred away, or you could try and save your father. For this time, we're going to talk about what happens if you let Monica take father away, because this is obviously a non-canon ending. Okay, gotta speed this up. My time scale is getting real fucking tight. Alright, so Monica takes Alfred away, and Aya is transported back into the real world, waking in the lab where Alfred would make his dolls. Aya exits the lab, and after traveling down the hallway, she runs into Maria unconscious. Maria wakes up asking where the doctor is, and Aya can't say anything to her. Maria realizes that the doctor did not survive, and begins to cry, exclaiming that the doctor meant everything to her. Aya and Maria return to the chapel, Maria sullenly sitting on one of the pews, and Aya praying in front of the chapel. Aya wonders what she'll do next, claiming that she'll be all alone. As she begins to walk away, she wonders what Maria will do, and asks Maria where she will go. Aya continues walking until Maria comes up behind her. Aya turns around only to be struck by Maria and rendered unconscious. Later we see Aya still unconscious on a bed, with Maria declaring that she will finish the doctor's work, the last words being how much Maria loves the doctor. And that's the first bad end. I'm really flying with no script at this point. I'm trying to get this done. I've run into a lot of problems. This has been one hell of a video. Let's just get this done. So if Aya decides to save her father, she throws the magic water at her mother. The curse's power being broken, her mother begins to fade away. Her mother calls out to Aya, saying how much she loves her. Aya reaches out to her mother as she fades away, but the spiritual world is starting to break down, and Aya wakes up once again in that same lab with all the dolls. I'm just gonna let the dialogue play out here, so enjoy this next part. Where am I? Father? Father? Ugh. Was I saved? Aya? Father? Aya. I'm sorry, Aya. I worried you so. Father, Mom. Yes, I know. She must have been lonely. We'll visit her grave tomorrow so her spirit won't be. Okay. Aya, I didn't want you to know the truth. With the last of my power. Skip the text. Fuck! A fine sample. I shall dispose of the remaining materials myself. That can wait. Come, Maria. Doctor. Doctor. She's aware of our relationship. What does it matter? I don't believe she's fond of me. That is the problem. The girl will be 11 soon. It's a troublesome age to be sure. Be kind to her, please. Make sure she is never harmed. She is my most precious. Doll of them all. Huh? A doll? Me? Father. Was that... Huh? This is... Now what? Mom! Oh, bye. He's always spending all his time down in the basement. Don't tell me he's with that girl again. Doctor, Mistress Aya has become rather... Mistress Aya has become rather ladylike. And to think, she always used to tease you and bother you. Ha ha ha, indeed. Just a little more, I think. A little more until she's ripe. I want to make her into the most beautiful doll I can. What was that? She shall be the masterpiece of all the dolls I've made. Dolls? What? Make her into a doll? Mom, what is this? I shall clean up the necessary materials. Please do. I'll never forgive you. You'll never make our precious daughter into one of your subjects. You, what's the meaning of this? Are you planning to experiment on her? So you overheard. What are you thinking? She's our one and only treasure. Exactly, she's a wondrous daughter. I want to make her eternally so. And yet she will someday be dirtied. That I cannot bear to think, so I will make her a doll. I don't believe this. I'll never let you do that. I'm leaving. What are you saying? If you want a doll of her so badly, just make a replica. Wait. Are you planning to take her away? That I cannot allow. Let go. I won't let you do what you will with her. Mom. Mom, no. Milady. Milady, stay with us. Doctor, why did you do this? It had to be done, for Aya's future. But, milady. Don't speak of this to Aya. But, she was already feeble. Say she passed away from a fit. I can't tell her. Are you refusing my order? No, that's not what... Maria. Whatever happens, I am loyal to you, Doctor. Because you are my assistant. Doctor. Now, how should we dispose of the body? Naturally, Aya must not see it. Mom. Is this a dream? Am I just having a bad dream? Yeah, you say that now. It's no dream. This is reality. Mom. I'm sorry, Aya. Your mother still loves your father even now. So I didn't kill him, but I should have. Don't say that. Run away from him. Ah. Aya. Aya, what's wrong? Why do you look so afraid of your father? No. No nibble, no nibble. Okay, thank God. No, Mother. Aya. What I just saw, was it the truth? Father, you... Very well. Father... Well, Aya, don't you think your mother's beautiful? Yeah. I suppose it's a bit much to take in. I wanted just a little more time, but... Father, you're going to make me into a doll? Don't be sad, Aya. By making you a doll, your beauty can last forever. Look at these children. Beautiful, yes? Preserved just as they were when alive. This is the fruit of my research. None of them are moving. Am I going to be like that? You can hardly even tell they're dolls, can you? But their heads, their eyes, torsos, hands, legs, they were gathered from a wide array of people. I find it quite fascinating. Combine a dog with a human if you so desire. Isn't that incredible? What would you like to be, Aya? Alas, I can't make any changes while preserving your loveliness. Father, stop. Ah, yes, perhaps I'll dress you up finely. Tell me whatever you wish to wear. No! Aya! Where are you going? Come, be by your father. No. Are you refusing your father? After the flashback is over, Aya is chased through the basement of her manor by her father who has gone insane, now wielding a chainsaw. Here, there's another choice to be made, the final choice in the entire game. Maria is attacked by father after she cannot find Aya, and her father storms off to go look for Aya some more. Aya can either help Maria recover using some bandages found in the basement, or she can move along, leaving Maria to bleed out. If Aya leaves Maria to bleed out, then no one is there to save Aya whenever her father catches up to her, and Aya is turned into a doll, just as her father always wanted. If Aya helps Maria, then Maria is able to stop her father from attacking Aya, and there we have the final cutscene in the game play out, which, once again, I'm just going to let the dialogue play for itself. Father. Nah, fuck him, he tried killing me. What the fuck? Yeah, fuck that doll. Mistress. Maria. Are you hurt? Maria. Father isn't moving. Did father die? I apologize, mistress. I had no other choice left to protect you. Okay. I guess this is for the best he's moving. He's moving, right, Mom? I never noticed he moved while you were talking with Maria, goddamn. I'm glad I made it. Mistress. My mouth was getting dry, so I had to go get a Capri Sun, my bad. You saved us. Thank you. No need for thanks. I just did what she asked. You mean my mom? I said I was sorry for scaring you. I didn't intend to get injured. Believe that, at least. I understand. Mom wanted to protect me. Thank you, Mom. I want to see you again. She wanted that too. But I don't think she wanted to be seen as she is now. That's... whatever Mom looks like, it's alright. She's watching you from afar. So don't be sad. If you are, it will only make her sad. Right. The curse will wear off soon, so it's almost farewell. You'll go away? We're all alive now, only because of the curse. I see, because there's something I must do before I go, and that is to set fire to this mansion. Why would... You can't do that. All those memories of being happy here. It's not my intent to burn those, but it's possible that someone could find traces of your father here. We can't let the same tragedy happen again. Is that what Mom wanted too? Okay. If that's what Mom wanted, then do it. Mistress. It's okay, Maria. Even if this house is gone, my memories of Father and Mom won't go. Mistress. Yes, that's right. There's one thing I ask of you. Do not ever forget the people who were sacrificed here. None of us had any relatives. No one looked for us. No one remembered us. No one knew we existed at all. Our existence will be forgotten to the world. But we did indeed live. So I don't want you to forget that. I can't speak, I can't English. I want you to hold proof in your heart that we were here. This is the least that you can do for us. Yes, I'll never forget. Thank you. Well, this is goodbye. Goodbye, Aya. May you be smiled upon. Now, go. Goodbye. At least I brought Snowball with me. Sorry about that. I had to get a hit of the Capri Sun. Oh, he has a hat. Humans are such utterly foolish creatures. I've seen countless many foolish humans, but you are the most foolish of them all. A human mad with desire is more fearsome than any demon, and yet I adore such foolish humans. Come to me. Come to me and you may research to your heart's content. He's still alive? It is just the two of us now. Well, and Snowball. Oh, yes, that's right. What shall we do now? I don't know. We have to find somewhere to live, but I'm sure I can't live alone. Maria, will you come with me? Yes, of course. You have taught me much, mistress. Now it is time for me to help you. Whatever waits ahead, I wish to protect you all the way. Thank you. Let's go. Are you sure? Without watching to the end? Yeah, it's fine. Actually, I wonder where that guy with the black coat went. I kinda hope he's okay. I'm sure he'll be alright though. He's a really strange guy. Come on, Snowball. Father, Mother, goodbye. A book? Mistress, What is the matter? Nothing. Let's go. The mistress is very hearty. Even after that harsh experience, she walks on without shedding a tear. With the mistress beside me, I feel we can overcome anything. However, what is this uneasiness I feel? Doctor? I'm finally here. I've heard about this place. Drevis Clinic. Clinic? Yeah, this must be the place. It's out in the middle of nowhere. No one would even notice it. Hello? Ah, a patient. Welcome. She's so pretty. Is she the doctor? What seems to be the problem? Yes, well, I was born... There's a car passing by. Epic. Yes, well, I was born rather feeble. I've asked my local doctor for a checkup, but how do I say this? My family is really poor, so the doctor's given up on me. That's why I came here. I've heard the doctor here does checkups for free. Yes, we don't ask any money from our patients, so don't worry. Really? I honestly don't have any, so... Can I really get examined? Of course. Thank you so much. What's your name? I'm John. John Rooney. John Rooney. John Rooney. Fuck! John Rooney. I can't... John Rooney. John Rooney. I don't like it. Jean, that's a wonderful name. I'm Aya Drevis. Nice to meet you, Jean. Yes, you too. Cough. It doesn't sound good. We should examine you right away. Come in, come in. Considering you're not all that healthy, your legs sure carried you a long way. Was it difficult for you? I met a kind old woman on the way here who took me part of the way on coach. It was so nice to meet her. Why did I say coach like that? What the fuck is wrong with me? What's in this Capri Sun? What's in this Capri Sun? Fuck. There are some really nice people out there. Just like you, Dr. Drevis. Hehe, you think so? I'm gonna take another sip of the Capri Sun. Now, lie down here. Boy, I'm nervous. I hear horses. They don't sound far off. Are they in the back? Stay very still while I apply anesthesia. Yes. You have very pretty eyes, you know. Oh, so beautiful. I can't stop looking at them. No one said that to me before. Thank you so much. Nervous, huh? It's fine, just relax your shoulders. Doctor. Doctor, do you think you can make me better? Of course. From now on, you'll never suffer again, so take it easy, and go to sleep. Indeed, the mistress is much like you. It does run in the family. Doctor. Here, we now move on to the secret ending, which I'm just gonna let it play out, and I'll explain it at the end. All of them making videos on this game. Uh-oh. My, you've made a mess here again. Forgot to hit the button. Well, have you grown used to this lab? Oh? This girl. You still longed for your daughter, I see. I see. So her mature form served as... Yes, of course. She shall come into my world as well. Ho, I look forward to her birth. I hope you can someday show that girl your home world. It's gotta be explained later, right? We're always together. My adorable Aya. The Mistress. Mistress. Mistress, please come to. Is she alright? She seems to have fainted from shock. Mistress. How's Aya? She's sleeping soundly. Just leave her be for a while. Right. Will you be alright? Don't worry about me. I mean, I'm already dead. Are you truly a dead person? Huh? I'm sorry, you just seem different from the other corpses somehow. I still sense life in your eyes, so it's hard to think of you as dead. Well, it feels pretty unbelievable to me that I'm up and about right now too. I'm sorry about before. I mistook you for an attacker, so I impulsively threw a knife. Don't worry about it. I probably would have done the same thing. Thank you for saying so. Maria. Mistress? Let's stay together. Mistress. Is she awake? No. I think she was talking in her sleep. What are we going to do now, I wonder? Not to mention you. We corpses are only being kept alive by the power of the curse. Once it's completely gone, I'm sure I'll vanish. I see. Even when you helped us so, I can't do anything for you. I'm truly sorry. Don't sweat it. This was always my fate. And no one can defy fate. Where would you be going? Feels weird sticking around in a girl's room. Can I borrow one of the other ones? I don't mind. Use any room that's available. Thanks. You have to live and protect Aya. That's your fate. That was Monica's wish too, which is why you were left here, I bet. Wait, Aya's mom's name is Monica? You need not worry. I've already decided that I must live to support the mistress. Oh, I'm playing as the blonde youth now. The second floor has lots of private rooms. I'll try on the first floor. Thank you. There's the old man, right? There he is. The youngster, eh? You first came here as a servant too, I'll bet. Same for me, but I wasn't like the others. I was taken in to be a servant, not as raw materials. That was back when the woman was alive. As I worked here, I came to learn the true nature of this family. I fled in terror, as fast as I could, but I couldn't make it away. Thought I was pretty clever about it too, but that woman saw right through me. She's scary sharp, she is. A woman who can read minds, can brainwash people no problem. Yeah, she well and truly tricks you. Do you mean to imply Monica brainwashed that scientist? Whatever kind of person she is, her feelings about her daughter are real. She's a fine mother. Huh, well, what do I care? You can think what you like. I was taken into this mansion as a human being. Maybe if I hadn't tried running, they wouldn't have killed me after all. Yep, okay. This goes to the backyard. Okay. So, Oh, I have to go back here. I think this goes down to the basement. I'll check the other rooms. To the cafeteria. Oop. What are you up to here? Ah, my. How good to see you're safe. Has that knife wound healed up already? You appear to have recovered quite well, thanks to that medicine of yours. Good. Who in the world are you? You're not from this mansion, and you don't seem dead to me. I'm just a passing salesman. I've witnessed some amusing sights indeed tonight. Love is a truly magnificent thing, isn't it? For love, people become crazed, fighting and hurting each other. How foolish and how pleasing. You're enjoying all this? And if I said I was, the hell is your goal? I have no goal, so to speak. I just enjoy observing deranged humans. You're not human, are you? But as of late, I've gotten a bit bored with mere observation. I decided to find some new amusement. Indeed, perhaps I, like he, would take part in a puppet show. Oh, shut up. Now you know. I like virtuous humans like yourself as well. It wouldn't be entertaining if this world were full of nothing but lunatics. It is the presence of good people that allows lunatics to shine. Such is why I didn't let you die. So, if you would, please, stand against the madman with your justice. When the time comes for it, I'll be watching closely. Just devoured food. Oh, they're awake now. Alright, then he burns down the mansion. Oh, wait, here we go. Ah, good. You woke up. Yeah. I'm terribly sorry. The mistress seems a bit shy. We've decided to leave the mansion. Right, that sounds good. We're going to leave all our past behind in this mansion. The mistress and I will start on a new life now. Is something the matter? You don't look pleased. Be careful of the red-eyed man in the black coat. What do you mean? Better not to ask that. He's dangerous to even get involved with. It may even endanger the mistress. Very probable. I'll bear it in mind. Well, this is goodbye. Is that? Goodbye, Aya. May you be smiled upon. Now go. Goodbye. There's a whole lot of fucking talking, god damn. I knew what I was signing up for. Back to a lonely life again. My life here was my salvation, even given what happened there. Still, she saved me. Those few days were irreplaceable. Her hands may have been cold, but her heart was so warm. Why did she save me, though? I wish I at least knew that. Aren't you going with them? A doll? Guess the curse hasn't worn off completely. Hey, don't you want to go with Aya? Won't you be lonely? I can't be with the two of them. If they learned I was alive, I feel like they'd make me pay. They're trying to move forward, so I can't be dragging them down. So I'll be living on a different path from them. Oh, okay. So however you like? Yes, I'll do as I please. Hey, do you believe in the string of fate? If you and Aya and Maria are bound by one of those, then you might meet again. Fuck! Then you might meet somewhere again. So long as we live in that same world, I can't deny that could happen. If you meet again, what'll you do if Aya has taken the same path as her father? What do you mean? What else would I mean? Don't they say that? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's impossible. She knows the subject's pain better than anyone. To think she would take the same path as him. I said if. Well, what'd you do? Then I would stop her. Could you stop her? I would try to, no doubt. Well, good luck. Oh, I'm getting kinda tired. I'm going to bed. Good night. Good night. And that is the real end to Mad Father. Whew. Well then. Now that we have gone through the true ending and the secret ending and everything, let's actually explain what happened. So at the end of the game, Maria is able to save Aya, and then Robin comes and saves Maria and Aya. Alfred is seemingly killed until Ogre comes and takes him off to somewhere. Robin decides to burn down the manor, and as Maria and Aya leaves, Aya finds her father's red book of anatomy and takes it with her. She continues her father's killing, setting up her own clinic and luring in victims to where she can make dolls as well, seemingly doing exactly as her father did. But we'll explain a little bit. In the secret ending, Robin vows to stop Aya if she ever goes down the same path as her father. Robin also goes through and talks with the old man, who repeats more of the same. Now, we can start getting into some theories, but I have just one more thing to explain. In the blood mode of the Steam release of Mad Father, whenever Aya proceeds through Alfred's journal room, where we get all the backstory on Alfred, instead it's replaced with journals from Monica. So let me read those out real quick. Quote, Dear Mr. Joachim Redder, I was deeply intrigued by your article. Is it true you killed 10 people in one night? I would love for us to meet and chat. I await your reply. Monica Drevis. Quote, My aunt's life has come to an end. It appears to have been suicide. No doubt she couldn't bear the family's persecution. Poor auntie. If only you'd obey the rules, your shame wouldn't have been exposed. I can't understand what auntie was thinking. We're giving rights to people whose lives have no value. Surely becoming a sacrifice for the Drevis family will let you leave more of a mark on the world. Quote, My dear grandfather has left for heaven. On his deathbed, he entrusted everything to me, telling me to look after the Drevis home. No doubt he wanted me to finally fulfill the long-sought ambitions of the Drevis lineage. Understood, grandfather. I'll take it upon myself. What am I to do? My heart won't stop racing from the thrill of being entrusted with such forbidden research. What a wondrous thing. Grandmother told me that I shouldn't take grandfather's last request seriously. According to her, eternal beauty has to do with living descendants to live into the future. However, I want to honor grandfather's wish, yet of course grandmother's as well. What then should I do? This final diary entry, found as Aya plays around her mother in a recreation. Quote, Per grandfather and grandmother's wishes, Aya is growing up very nicely. Were grandfather alive, I suspect he would have made her study all throughout the day. I want to see out his wish, but I don't want to make Aya suffer, so I'll continue to let her be free. I'm sure it'll be fine, however. I believe in her. I know she'll become a fine successor to the Drevis name. Quote, Why will you not reply? I understand you're busy, but I just want the slightest reply. Do you doubt me, perhaps? My feelings are real. I would never lie about them. I adore you. I love you. Perhaps you'll hate me for writing it, but when I see your madness, my heart flutters. When we first met, you tried to kill me. Just as I was about to die, my heart was pounding. I had never experienced such thrills before. I shiver even when thinking back on it. But the feelings are not of fear, they are love. Because even then, it was you I wanted. But it is still a mystery to me. Why didn't you kill me? I have an idea as to why. Perhaps I am someone special to you? No, forgive my silly thoughts. I just want you to know my love is genuine. Oh yes, I've included a map to my house with this letter. Please come if you're so inclined. I'm sure my mansion will surprise you. It used to be a base for a religious group, so they've left many interesting things here. I would love to show them to you. I'll be waiting always. With the final diary entry of Monica Drevis, I hope you understand a bit more what's going on, but let's put the puzzle pieces together and figure out exactly what happened in the story of Mad Father. From the beginning, the Drevis family was a religious cult that tried to create eternal beauty, a never-ending form that will never decay, never wither, never grow old. They've tried and tried for generations, but they never could. Eventually, their madness and search for never-ending beauty made them believe that their family was cursed, that they were all born evil. After Monica's grandfather and grandmother dies, Monica is left to carry on the work of the Drevis family. She begins looking around at various serial killers to make a husband out of, and decides on Alfred. We don't know his last name, because he took on the name Drevis. Alfred attempts to kill Monica, and this causes her to fall in love with him, which is the most white girl shit I've ever heard. But Alfred tries to kill Monica, she falls in love, and eventually Alfred moves into the manor and continues his work, taking up from the Drevis family. Yes, Alfred's love of making dolls came from the Drevis, although looking at corpses was just something that he enjoyed. They were a match made in hell, if you can imagine. Aya is born, and Monica sees Aya as a continuation of the Drevis family curse, trying to bring on that her grandmother's wishes of bringing in eternal beauty through new life. Alfred Drevis tries to keep Aya pure, teaching her good morals. In Blood Mode, we see a scene where Alfred attempts to teach Aya right and wrong, but Aya just doesn't seem to understand. She doesn't understand why she can't hurt things. She doesn't feel bad for hurting things, so why is it bad to do it? She doesn't feel bad from it. But Alfred Drevis teaches her to say sorry in response to when she does something bad, as a way of apologizing, to disassociate from any guilt she might feel. And Aya does this. Throughout the game, every time Aya must harm something, she always says sorry beforehand. It's a way of coping with the fact that she knows she's doing something wrong, but doesn't feel like she's doing something wrong. Aya is born a psychopath in that way. We just don't really see it until later in the game. Alfred continues his experiments, killing many people, turning some into dolls, and just eviscerating others. Eventually, he brings in Maria into the manor and has her work as his assistant, eventually having an affair with her. Monica is upset by this because she sees that her control on Alfred is slipping. Monica tries to control Alfred and control Aya to preserve the curse of the Drevis family. Eventually, Monica overhears Alfred and his plans to make Aya a doll. He wants to make Aya a doll because he knows that Aya will eventually become a killer just like him, and he doesn't want that to happen to her. She doesn't want her soul to be dirtied. See, a lot of people read into, I don't want her to be dirtied. That line, a lot of people read into that as Alfred is afraid of Aya being taken away by another man. They think it's some creepy incest shit, or he's scared of her becoming an adult, you know? But it's not that. He knows that Aya is following down the path of a serial killer. So in his own fucked up way, because he just can't teach her to not kill things, he tries to turn her into a doll to prevent that from happening. Monica overhears this and tries to take Aya away from him, but Alfred won't let her. He kills Monica and keeps her body, going to make a doll out of her eventually as well. This leads to the events of the game a year later. In the game, we find out that Aya herself isn't actually that clean. She has been killing animals and hiding them in her drawers, just like Alfred did whenever he was younger, which leads him to believe that Aya herself will also become a serial killer later on. It's not an unfounded fear. I mean, the apple doesn't really fall far from the tree. Robin is never actually killed. He's not actually a corpse. Instead, he was mutilated by Alfred, but before Alfred got a chance to kill him, Monica came and helped Robin, using Robin to lead Aya away from the manor. Eventually, Aya leaves the manor, continuing on her father's work, becoming soiled as he wished he hadn't let her. And at the very end, we see that Ogre had taken Alfred to a different dimension where Alfred can reconstruct Aya in his perfect image. And that is the end of Mad Father. But there's a few theories I want to ask. How insane is Aya? It could be assumed that, of course, she's a psychopath. She does not know right from wrong. She doesn't understand why hurting other things is wrong. She doesn't understand, they hurt, but it doesn't hurt me, so why is it bad? Her father tries to negate this by teaching her to say sorry before she hurts anything. It is a way to try and feel guilt from hurting things. But Aya just doesn't really get it. She just uses sorry as a coping mechanism, So I want to go back to that wall of Snowball, all of those glass jars all lined up. See, a lot of people will look at that and think Alfred was killing different clones of Snowball over and over again to experiment on them. But I don't think so. In my theory, I think that Aya was killing Snowball over and over and over again, and Alfred was keeping the corpses so that maybe someday he can taxidermy them and have a room filled with Snowball to surround Aya so she knows that she's always with her friends. See, a lot of people won't like that because that is a very bold claim, Aya killing her own pet over and over and over again. But whenever we look at it, Aya doesn't really learn much. She has seen the suffering of the corpses, as Robin says in the secret ending. She has seen the suffering of the corpses. She knows how bad they hurt with their father dead, with what her father did, yet she continues on his work. She still makes dolls at the very end. And in Blood Mode, there's a scene where a ghost confronts Aya and asks, "Doctor, why did you kill me? I just wanted to be saved. Why did you kill me?" Aya feels guilt over what she does, but she continues to do it. She knows how much the ghosts are suffering, but she continues to do it. Aya herself is insane. I think that Aya is a psychopath, and I do believe she's evil. Now, Monica is extremely evil because she used Alfred pretty much to just try and create the perfect synthesis. In fact, Aya is pretty much just exactly what Monica wanted. Aya carries on the Drevis family's quest for eternal life, while also carrying on her father's quest for eternal beauty. She herself is the perfect synthesis between their fucked up, twisted ideologies. So, Aya is evil. Monica may be the most evil. And Alfred, while he himself is definitely evil, he was a serial killer, and even after he joined the Drevis family, he kept killing in more and more brutal ways. I don't really understand what it has to do completely mutilating a young child or starving a child to death has to do with searching for how to make a good doll, but hey, I'm not Alfred Drevis. I'm not a mad scientist trying to make dolls. But it's clear that Alfred, to some degree, was just a pawn in Monica's game. But that's really all I have to say for the theories. I just tried to put together who is evil, who's the most evil, and what did it all mean in the end. So that's the story of Mad Father. This took way too fucking long. Way too fucking long. I'm so sorry. Real life shit keeps happening, and I'm trying to do all those donation streams, but thank you all for listening. If you got to this far, it means a lot. Like, subscribe, do all the YouTube shit. Comment what you think about Mad Father. What do you think? Could Aya have been saved? I mean, she was born a psychopath, obviously. She, from a very early age, just didn't understand right from wrong. She couldn't even comprehend why hurting other things is bad. So I want to know, do you all think that Aya could have been saved? in any way, or do you think Alfred was right? She should have been just turned into a doll so she would never get her hands dirtied. Either way, thank you all for listening. I have to edit this because I want it out tomorrow, but we'll see. This is probably not a very comprehensive video. It's pretty much just me running through the entire game and explaining shit. I'm sorry. I really am not prepared to do videos this long because right now I'm recording and I'm at 55 minutes. It's probably going to be way longer than that. But we'll call this it. More shorter videos coming soon. I have to do a shitpost video. I have to do a Mimi shitpost video. I have to wash all this serious research and shit off, because trying to put this all together in a way that sounds decent and coherent, that was a nightmare. Thank you all for watching. Check out my live streams. We're running our donation streams until the end of April, and that is the end. Goodbye.